right. So this is game 2. Since I lost, I'm going to be on the play. And just to explain what I'm sideboarding in, since I know he's playing black, I'm going to bring in just a couple of ley lines. I didn't see a ton of removal game 1. Kozilek's Return, just a good board wipe for all those creatures that were coming in, hitting me a little bit at a time. And then Echoing Truth, just always good to have to bounce any pesky cards if he plays Chalice or there's any other things that would affect my deck. That's just a good bounce card. And taking out Beseiju is obviously him countering something is not going to be an issue. And just a couple of draw spells.
All right. Well, as for me, we figured out she's playing some kind of probably show and tell deck. Probably sneak attack, maybe. We didn't really get to see all that, but so against decks like that, Punishing Fire is not very good. We can assume she's not playing any creatures that are targetable by this card, and if she is, I probably still don't want to play it anyway. Life and Loam is typically not good against these decks because they fetch a lot of basics, and by the time they play their dual lands or their soul lands, they're usually winning the game. So playing Loaming back Wastelands is not a valuable strategy. Scavenging Ooze is not really good against her deck. She doesn't really interact with the graveyard a lot. And we're taking out one Abrupt Decay. She's obviously not sideboarding Blood Moon, but a lot of time we would assume a deck like this would have Blood Moon in the sideboard or Back to Basics or some other kind of land hate, so we need to keep in Abrupt Decays. That's just a way to preserve our lands and make sure that we're able to interact with cards like that. So what we're bringing is Eastern Candace is really good against show and tell decks because once they play show and tell, they can't play anything else. Thalia is really good against decks with cantrips and just a way to slow her down to hopefully try to get her edge in the game. Reclamation Sage is also really good against show and tell and sneak attack. When she plays show and tell, I can show and tell Reclamation Sage, and if she can't win at instant speed, we can interact very well. Golgari Charm also interacts with both enchantments, so we bring those in. And we bring in Thoughtseize despite playing Chalice in our deck because matchups like this are bad enough that we need to have a little bit of an extra edge. And again, Thoughtseize is just really good at trying to interact with her hand because we need to interact as much as possible to win the match. And that's it. All right, well, good luck.
Good luck to you also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little surprising to win that game 1 like that after the Liliana got countered. That's usually a rough spot for me. I got very lucky drawing the Dark Confidant. Other than that, you would have had an unlimited clock to set up your workshop over there.
Unfortunately, just all I could draw was lands, especially at the beginning. And,
yeah. A lot of the time, my deck this deck against matchups like this, which are kind of rough, is going to rely on your deck to just not function properly, because especially not having a Chalice. That's our really Chalice and potentially Galatique is really our only interaction in the first game that's actually meaningful. Liliana can be, but it's not always where we want it to. Doesn't always do what we want it to do. All right, so you're playing?
Yep, I'm on the play.
All right.
Good luck.
Yep, you too. We'll draw our 7. 3.
This has a lot more going on for me than what I saw game 1, so I'm going to keep it.
Okay, well, our hand is very slow, has very little disruption, and does not interact basically at all, so we're going to mulligan. In this matchups like this, my deck typically tends to mulligan a lot because we're looking for a certain piece of interaction, and a lot of our cards are worth a lot less depending on when they're played. So we just want to, again, just try to set up as much interaction as possible and try to slow her down enough to try to win a game. All right, we'll draw our 6. This hand has a similar problem to the last hand, though on 6 it's more tempting to keep a hand like this. I still think that, based on the fact that we can't cast this card, is a hand that we probably cannot keep, so we're going to go to 5. right, let's see if we can get something going here. And again, in this matchup, the mulligans are not nearly that bad because a lot of the time I'm going to win with resources that don't matter anyway. If I end up winning the match. 4, 5. This hand is not super exciting, but it's not bad. We have this, and we get to play this on turn 1, and hopefully our scry and our next couple draw steps will help us out. So we're going to go ahead and scry. This card is good. We're going to keep that card on top. And it's your turn.
Alright, I will play a Volcanic Islands and pass.
Alright, we'll draw. Now, based on the fact that we're drawing this card, we're not going to be able to play this on turn 1, which is fine. We'd much rather just play the interactive spell on turn 1. So I think we actually just want to start with this because we want to keep these in our hand for now. We're going to play a Thoughtseize, going to 18, if this resolves.
In response, I'm going to Brainstorm.
Sure. So she's going to probably hide her best cards on top of her deck, which is unfortunate for us. But luckily, since it is turn 1, it is unlikely that she'll be able to hide everything. So luckily, or hopefully, we'll be able to hit something that matters. Or maybe her hand is just problematic enough that she doesn't have a win rolled up here anyway.
I think...
Either way, the information should be good. She could also brainstorm into a Forcible to counter my Thoughtseize, but if that's the case, I don't feel too bad about it because Forcible is going to be good against us regardless. And again, the taking 2 cards out of her hand can hopefully potentially slow her down enough to maybe be able to play this card and find some more interaction for her.
Okay. I'm going to put those 2 back and sort of debating what to do here, but I think I'm going to force the Thoughtseize, exiling, enter the infinites, go to 19.
Alright, so it's going to be countered. We'll stay at 20. I will pass the turn. Okay. It's unfortunate that she countered our Thoughtseize, but again, as I said, Force of Will is going to be good regardless of whatever threat I play, so it's fine. At least we can hopefully clear the way for something else.
And my mindset using it there was it was probably going to get taken anyway if the Thoughtseize were to resolve. It's a likely target, so might as well use it, I guess. I'm going to play a land for a turn. We're going to pass.
Alright, so we'll draw. Alright, that doesn't really help us too much. I think our game plan is just to play this and hope to find something good off of it. I will crack Verdant Catacombs. I'll go to 19. Now, she has double Volcanic Islands, so a Blood Moon here could be unlikely. But at the same time, at this point we have enough lands in our hand that I would definitely just get this forest out. Because we can just fetch for whatever thing we need off of the future lands we have later on. I'll attempt to cast a Sylvan Library.
Sylvan Library. I will allow that.
Alright, I'll pass the turn.
Alright, I will draw for turn. Fortunately, I'm missing a land drop here, so that slows things down a little bit, but I'm going to pass.
Alright, well that's good for us so far. No more board interaction. We're going to trigger Sylvan Library. Look at the top 3. These aren't too great to see, to be honest. In this matchup, we can afford to pay some life. Though I do think, again, these aren't really the best cards here. I think what we want to do is actually cast... well, I think we probably want to cast this turn to try to get some pressure into play so we can try to end this game. Do we need this other card? I think it's fine to take 4 here because I don't mind the extra resources here, and it's unlikely this game's going to come down to me having 15 life. So we're going to take 4 off the Sylvan Library. We'll go ahead and play a Verdant Catacombs and crack it and go to 13 or 14. I'm sorry. At this point, we need land to help us cast the card that we drew with Sylvan Library. So we're going to grab that land right now, which would be. I guess we want to make sure we have double black for cards like Lily on the Veil, so we'll grab a Scrub Blade. I will attempt to cast a Knight of the Reliquary.
Each land card. Yeah, that can resolve.
I'll pass the turn.
Alright, so I have no end step action, so I'm going to move to my draw step.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play a land for turn.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get things moving here. I'm going to attempt to cast Show and Tell.
Alright, that will resolve. I will put this into play.
Okay.
Alright, whenever you're ready. Alright, that is bad news for us.
Revealing an Omniscience, you may play a non-land card, cast a non-land cards from your hand without paying their mana cost.
Yep.
And I have a couple of things I could play at this point. I'm going to play Enter the Infinite.
Sure.
Okay.
See,
This.
so she'll draw her deck. At this point, there's really nothing we can do to win the game, but it is free information for us to see how she attempts to win the game, and depending on how much of her deck she wants to show to us.
Okay.
It is typically not worth conceding in these spots. It is good to let your opponent play it out, because again, depending on how they win or what they do to win, you can glean more information about the deck.
Mm-hmm. And now I will play an Emrakul.
Mm-hmm.
In that spot, I had both options in my hand, but playing the Enter the Infinite just gives me access to my library. I have more options if there are any responses, things like that. So that usually is what I go for. Although in this matchup, it probably didn't matter a whole lot.
Yeah, well, once she gets to the Omniscience, it's very difficult for my deck to interact.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's usually just a matter of time.
All right, and I will end this turn and move to my next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Had to think where I was for a second. Okay, draw for turn.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I will move to combat.
Yes.
Attack for 15, Annihilator trigger.
Well, we are just actually defense attack, so that is the game.
Oh, right.
And if we weren't dead, we were definitely dead in the board states.